Good afternoon and welcome to today's episode of NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold for this Thursday, the 26th day of August in the year of our Lord 2021. We've been watching as Biden constantly caved to the demands of our enemies. This not only tells them we are weak, but also ripe for an invasion of their own. Something that Trump got rid of after Obama did the same thing that Biden is doing, and the world was laughing at us then. Now they are laughing again, as America has leadership with no backbone to stand up and fight for when the time is right or wrong. From the Blaze comes this one. Dan Crenshaw says we need to tell the Taliban that if you get in our way, we will kill you. Now granted, that is talk we will never hear from Biden or Harris or Pelosi or Schumer or any of the other liberals out there. But it must be done if we are to get our people out. The time for America to stop pussyfooting around this has come, and our leaders don't have the gonads for it. Following threats of retaliation from the Taliban this week, President Joe Biden decided not to extend his evacuation deadline from Pakistan past August 31st, a decision which could leave thousands of American citizens stranded in the country amid the terrorist militant takeover. While the president appeared to fold under the pressure from the Taliban, Texas Republican Representative Dan Crenshaw, a former Navy SEAL who fought in Afghanistan where he lost his right eye, offered a much different response. Quote, "The only proper response from America to these dirty, savage terrorists should be, go F yourself," unquote. And that is what the lawmaker tweeted on Monday. Crenshaw then expanded on his message to the militant group in an interview with Politico published Tuesday. Quote, "We need to send a very clear message to the Taliban that we're not negotiating about our deadline. That should be our message. We should laugh at them when they say, oh, well, that's a red line for us. You need to be out by August 31st. No, and if you get in our way when we are extricating Americans, then we will kill you. That is the only message that Biden should be delivering to the Taliban," unquote. The lawmaker's simple message came after the Taliban recently threatened dire consequences should the deadline be extended or otherwise violated. Spokesman for the group said on Monday that the August 31st deadline is considered a red line that the U.S. ought not to cross. Then on Tuesday, they declared that Afghan nationals would no longer be allowed to flee the country. As Biden administration continues to work on rescuing an undisclosed number of American citizens from Afghanistan, it is inexplicably vague regarding the number of Americans evacuated thus far, leading many to question whether the mission can be completed before the deadline expires next Tuesday. According to a leaked cable, the administration has so far been able to evacuate roughly 4,400 Americans from the country, but even low-end estimates indicate there could be 10,000 or more still stranded. Additionally, reports have surfaced indicating that American citizens attempting to flee Afghanistan have been hampered and obstructed from reaching Kabul airport, often under the threat of violence. Even so, Biden has opted to carry out evacuation efforts on the Taliban's timetable, prompting NBC News reporter Richard Engel to call the situation, quote, "a moment of American humiliation," unquote. And now we'll remove the liberal blindfold. Now this is what a real leader would do. The safety of our citizens would come first, and showing backbone and strength is the way to do it, not hiding in the basement and giving in to demands from terrorists as our fake president is doing. From 1 Corinthians 15, verse 43, "It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power." America became great and strong through conviction and the ability to back up our threats with annihilation if it was needed. The world is a much better place because of that. We kept the dictators and the terrorists at bay. That is, until Obama. Then they were allowed to do whatever they wanted, and they did while laughing at us all the way. Then came Trump, and the strength came back, and our military came back with a vengeance. And in that time, peace treaties that seemed impossible throughout the ages to have been signed were signed, and peace was becoming the way to be. Then Biden got cheated into office that he didn't win, nor could he handle it. And the world is laughing at us again. Terror groups like the Taliban that Trump had gotten rid of are now back and telling us what to do. And our so-called fake president is bowing down to their demands. To hell with our citizens in harm's way. Dan Crenshaw, and yes, you libs out there, Trump has the right way. Biden does not. And until these liberal demonobrats are taken out of office, America will be the laughingstock of the world. Get used to it. Senator Ted Cruz said it best on Verdict with Ted Cruz when he said, quote, "Well, it's an absolute mess. It is heartbreaking to see the disaster that's unfolding in Afghanistan, and no matter how low of expectations you had for the Biden administration, what has unfolded in the last 2 weeks, I think, has been even worse than anyone anticipated. It's a really dangerous combination of radical ideology and manifest incompetence, and I gotta tell you, it reminds me of the border crisis. The two are really quite similar in that both are catastrophes under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and they're both catastrophes because they embrace left-wing ideologies that are disconnected from reality, and they combine that with a really stunning inability to execute with any effectiveness, and that produces disasters. It's reminiscent of Jimmy Carter in the 1970s of naive leftist ideology and blatant incompetence," unquote. That tells us all exactly what is happening in the White House now, blatant incompetence. Thank you again for listening to us here at NWCR, where we strive hard to find the truth hidden by the lamestream lying liberal media. And, as I will always say, we will not be ruled. We are heard through Conservative Nation Media, or CNM, from behind the silver microphone of freedom with that voice of reason in this increasingly unreasonable world, where America always wins. Please subscribe to my Rumble account under the name of NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold, and also my BitChute account with the same name. And now I am also on Brighteon, where it says, quote, "Refuse to be silenced. Free speech lives here. Join now," unquote. And there the name of my videos is Removing the Liberal Blindfold. Subscribe because I am being shadow banned on Facebook and YouTube. And on YouTube, they don't like the truth, so I'm probably going to be gone soon. We will be back tomorrow with our next update, and until then, please use your common sense. We are being laughed at by our enemies, and that only emboldens them, and the left doesn't care. Remember, my friends, a great America is a peace tool for the world. A weak one brings on the wars that we will not fight. We have 3 more years of this panty-waist leadership, so stand strong. God bless you all.